Yo, welcome to Philosopher's Stoned. Tonight I have an episode I've been wanting to do. There's been some History Channel shows about it. There's been some National Geographic shows about it. I don't know about that, but maybe. A lot of big names have covered this one, but that's not going to stop me from doing what I want to fucking do. So, I have tonight the Voynich Manuscript, which is a codex of some kind. If you are unfamiliar with what a codex is, it's like usually an ancient piece of text, usually with an unknown author. You know what I'm saying? It's usually some shit that you have to decipher and kind of figure out what the fuck it is. So like I said, we really don't know who wrote this thing or what group of people or things or aliens wrote it. We really don't know shit about where it came from until it got brought into the light. And that's what we'll get into first. Is this an angel's encyclopedia? Some type of alien documentation of a planet's properties? I have no fucking idea. But here is how it reached the public. In 1912, Wilfred Voynich visited the Villa Mondragon in Italy, where he was searching for precious or rare books. One of the trunks he was allowed to ruffle through contained the Voynich Manuscript, where he purchased and spent the rest of his life trying to decipher and decode this thing. After his death, his wife kept the manuscript. So in 1960, Ethel Voynich passes, with no children or close relatives, so she passes all her possessions to a woman named Anne Nill, and one particular item is locked in a bank vault, which was the Codex. Nill ends up selling the book for a small fortune to a man named Hans P. Krauss, and that dude donated it to Yale in 1969 after not being able to figure out what the fuck it was either. Alright, now I'm going to explain what it is exactly. A small medieval codex written in an unknown language, possibly lost to time or from another race of entities completely, or a secret society. It's roughly around 240 pages long with about 30 lost or damaged pages. These pages are sorted into 18 quires and contain very intricately plotted text. The indecipherable texts are accompanied by a bunch of fold-out images of illustrations. The drawings are strange imagery to say the least. The vellum of the manuscript, vellum is like animal hide shit that people wrote on, that is carbon dated to be from the early 1400s, but we don't know how accurate that is because carbon dating is kinda iffy. And that it was composed in Italy during the Italian Renaissance, when everyone over there was being all freaky, experimenting with art and whatnot. The first section has a theme of agriculture, like botanicals, showing pretty detailed and intricate drawings of plants and foliage showing their root systems, leaves, and flowers. This section is very extensive. It takes up a third of the manuscript itself. I'm assuming the text that goes along with these pictures describes this section and gives you details about the properties of the specific foliage and how to find it and how to use it, like what properties you can get out of using these plants. The second and third sections cover the aspects of astrology and cosmology, showing some recognizable zodiac symbols within the illustrations and some detailed astrological charts. So now the fourth section is comprised of some very bizarre imagery, different drawings of women bathing in an unknown green substance. They're obviously accompanied with text in undecipherable language, so there's literally no context to this one. It's just a bunch of pictures of naked old bitches in a fucking green pool, and I don't understand what that could be. It could be so many things. Some sort of fountain of youth, an alchemical liquid that heals that we have no idea how to come across? I don't really know. And the fifth section contains images of more herbs and plants and drawings of what seem to be storage vessels, which were used in medieval Europe, which is what we would call like Tupperware today, or something like that. Finally, the sixth section is what scholars have named the recipe section. This is an extended big block of text, once again undecipherable, so we don't really know what the recipes contain. It could be a fucking cookbook, for all we know. Not sure. Some of the bizarre imagery thrown into the Codex is super fucking wild, like the drawing of a dragon feeding on leaves of an herb, a large fold out of what seems to be a hidden castle within the diagrams, a small corner image of what seems to be a naked corpse, and on the final page of it there's one of a small image drawing of a goat resting above an obviously naked woman. So what I've found is that the Codex enters the historical record at the court of Rudolph II, a weak-ass Holy Roman Emperor around 1550. His court in Prague was a magnet for the smarter man back then, including the astronomer Johannes Kepler, and others from around Europe. This is believed to be when the emperor purchased the book, because no one in the court could manage to read it, so he just bought it. Accounts have suggested that the manuscript of a Franciscan friar named Roger Bacon, who deserves his own episode, which I definitely will do, he was heavily into science, alchemy, and all the cool shit back then. Scholars have argued against his claim for various reasons, so if it wasn't Bacon, who composed it? Many believe our boy John motherfucking Dee wrote it. If you went and saw the John Dee episode, you know all about this dude. Between 1584 and 1588, Dee visited the court in Prague as a guest of Rudolph II. Some say this is how Rudolph got the book. We know Dee was into cryptography and deciphering shit and scrying and all that, so maybe he had a go at it for a while and then sold it for some new crystal ball money. My opinion regarding Dee comes in at the fact that a lot of the language in the Codex looks a lot like the Enochian alphabet that he received through a higher power and automatic writing. To me, anyways, it looks really similar. The Enochian language was the language of the angels that Dee and Kelly had tapped into. That's Edward Kelly. One of the many explanations brought about was the one by Leo Levitov in his book called The Solution of the Voynich Manuscript, a liturgical manual for the Endura Rite of the Cathari Heresy. What a fucking... Why don't you just name the book 3 words? In this, he explains that he thinks it was a manual of the Cathars, a heretical Christian sect destroyed in the 13th century. Instead of an unknown or a coded language, it was written in a polyglot tongue that isn't recorded anyway. Not sure if I give this theory any juice, because there's really no... I mean, there might be some type of coincidental connection, but I didn't find any. Around this time, there was so many different weird mystical sects that they could have just said, hey, that sect wrote it. That sect wrote it. You know, you never know. I'm surprised I didn't find anything saying that the fucking Templars wrote it. You know, I believe that a higher power wrote this codex. I feel like maybe if you want to say aliens, go ahead and say aliens. Maybe more of like what Dee and Kelly got with the Enochian alphabet and language from some type of angelic being. Maybe it was even a demonic being. Maybe this is a fucking demon's encyclopedia, cookbook, recipe, and all that shit. Who knows? We don't fucking know. And that's why I wanted to bring a little light on it, because I feel like we'll probably never know the answer to the Voynich Manuscript. That's the beauty of a mystery, huh? So, I hope that you enjoyed this, even though this is like a fucking episode of that Unsolved Mystery Show. There is no answers. I have none for you. So if you came here for some type of closure, sorry, you're not gonna get it. Thank you for watching Philosopher Stoned. I got 2 or 3 more episodes coming out this week. Who knows when I'll get around to doing them. It's fucking hot outside, and I don't like it.